channel. Today we are going to do the Enderi Ritual, which is all about the Elven Middle Days. Yes, we all have our books here. And so if you have your book, you can follow along with us, or you could just watch us do it. I am going to demonstrate the hand signals, and then Calantirniel will be narrating for us. And this is just a very nice ritual to embody the energies of the Valar within yourself and to empower yourself. So it's really great if you're feeling a little down right now, or you just need a little bit of that boost in energy. This is a wonderful ritual to do. So I'm excited to do this tonight on our new moon, right?
Yeah. We actually have Moran Narquelie, which is for Namo, or the Halls of Mondos. And so that's happening in 2019 at the same time, but we're going to just do the Enderi ritual this evening.
Yes, and one thing that I did want to say is that if you are interested in learning more about the book, we have another video that I will link in the description, and it will also be at the end of the video so that you can actually go back and listen to how Calantirniel and Nathan Elwin wrote the book and what it all means. So today is all about the ritual. So Calantirniel, would you like to start us off?
Sure. I will answer a question that we got on a Facebook message beforehand, and they wanted to know why we chose Enderi to feature in a book format versus all the other Elven holidays. And that was a really good question, because it wasn't really clear in the book why we chose that. So it was actually circumstantial. Dr. Marcus Davidson, who did his thesis on us, that was the actual ritual he attended when he scheduled with us. It just so happened to be the Enderi time of year when he witnessed us. And so we decided to publish the one for him for his thesis, because when he was doing his academic research and publishing his white papers for his doctoral thesis, he was then shopping around for another publisher for doing like a wider, broader academic reach. And his publisher did not want to publish the ritual because they were afraid of stepping on the Tolkien estate's toes.
Yes, and you can go into this more. You can learn all about this in the introduction video.
That's what the reason is. I wanted to answer that Facebook question. So we do the Enderi ritual. Well, besides, it's the only one that is 3 days long, where all of the other ones are only 1 day that they're marked. So it actually works out. And another thing that makes this work well, and this is not in the book either, is that because I travel around in neo-pagan circles and witchy circles and stuff like that, there's this thing called pagan pride that is at this time of the year. So this is another way to feature when I share the path with people that are interested in those circles. It'll coincide at the same time of year as their festivals. So it just ended up working out that it's Enderi.
Okay, great.
Okay,
so let's begin.
Let's get started.
Yes.
Enderi, the Elven Middle Days, which is normally the 25th to the 27th of September in any given year. And so it's all 3 of those days, just to be sure with that. And it's when the elves travel, etc. And that was explained in the last video. So at this point, we are honoring Orome, who rides his horse while blowing his horn. Chapter 1 is Linde Elenlote, the Song of the Starflower. And what we're doing is we're setting the ritual energies with this 7-pointed star that you might see. And we have the clock positions that we have written for a usual clock setting, so that you know which point that you are at any given time. Kimber L will just demonstrate this, but you can do it in front for yourself, and you can just make the star and it'll work, I promise. Okay. So while we're toning, we can hold our hands outward when we're toning. And for namaste position, we'll put our hands together. And you can also, when you're drawing, use your pointer finger or even 2 fingers. You could do either one. There's no tools necessary other than the books and your love of Tolkien that you could do this with. So, and you can get this either the free version, which has no meditation in it, or the one that's paid version, ebook or print book. So I just thought I'd tell you guys that are looking into that. Okay. If you are in a place where you can stand and face the directions, you can do that, but you don't have to. If you are stationary, like we are right now for the camera, you can do all of this right in front of you. It'll still work, and you can just visualize east, north, all of these things. It'll be fine. We promise. We've worked at this for a while. So we will face east, or like at least visualize ourselves facing east, which is the direction of origins, which is called Cuivienen, the lands of awakening of the elves. We will visualize the mists of swirling gold and silver light that naturally create our ritual area, which is above, below, and throughout the middle, and finally strengthened in the center and going outward. So while toning, we hold our hands outward, like away from us, so we're drawing in front of us. And while we're toning, we then can bring our hands together at the heart chakra in the namaste position, which is the hand position I showed earlier. And it looks like prayer, and it feels right. So we are intoning Eru, which is the one, the all that is. Okay? Eru. Okay, I hope that didn't echo too badly. And we haven't done it with the mics and all of the online stuff before, so this is new for us. Okay, alternatively, for some people, if they're feeling comfortable with using just the source, you can tone Iluve, okay? Because it means everything rather than just the one, okay? So it's up to you with your spiritual belief system. Because some of the Christians may want to tone Iluve for everything because they feel that their one is the Christ consciousness, which is allowed in our path. We don't have a problem with that. Okay, we are now on the star. So we'll go ahead and put our hands at the 4 o'clock position. So in front of you, whatever is 4 o'clock, and for me, it's over here. But for you, it might be on this side. So, and we'll tone Star Day, which is Elenia. Elenia. Move your hand over to the 8 o'clock position. And we'll tone Anaria, which is Sunday, literally Sunday. Anaria. We bring our hands up to the 2 o'clock position, and we tone the moon day, which is Isilia. Isilia. Bring your hand down to what would be the 7 o'clock position for Alduya, which is the trees day, or the day of the 2 trees. Alduya. Bring our hands up to the top, or the 12 o'clock position, the top of the star. We intone Heaven's Day, which is called Menelia. Menelia. We bring our hand to the 5 o'clock position for Earenia, which is the sea day. This is the day that was added by the Numenorians to make a 6-day week, which is the Elven week, a 7-day week. And it's functional for our calendar, so we add it. Bring your hand up to the 10 o'clock position for Valaria, which is the high day or the powers day, the day of the Valar. Valaria. And bring your hand back to the 4 o'clock position to close the star. And we intone Arda, which is Middle Earth or where we live right now. Arda. We turn the page and we complete the seal with our hand in the Fear Not Mudra position, which is just your fingers together and facing outward. And this seals the circle. We can intone Eya, behold. Eya. Okay, and I believe that we've got Eya when we intone. No, that's Laita. Okay. I get mixed up sometimes. You can also intone Eya in different volumes for you if you like Eya. If you prefer something different to raise the energy, you can do it that way too. We are now on chapter 2, and this is the first of the directions where we call east, which is called Roman. Okay, so you can either face east right now, or you can just watch the video, pretend that you're facing east, and draw this symbol in front of you in any way that feels right. So I'm just going to draw the Roman symbol in front of me, and then hold your hand in the Fear Not Mudra. Roman. We now call upon Manwe Sulimo, the High King of Arda, of the Eagles and Winds, and his lady Varda, Elentari, the Queen of the Stars and Protector of Arda and Iluvatar's children. We welcome you into our circle. Aya.
Aya.
Perfect. Turn the page. And we are now on Hjarmin, which is the south. So we can visualize turning to the south once we face east, and we'll draw this particular Tengwar. Okay, right in front of us. Hold your hand in the Fear Not Mudra and intone Hjarmin. Hjarmin. We now call upon Tulkas, the youngest bare-handed, ruddy warrior Vala, and Nessa, the sister of Orome, and friend of the deer, she who dances on the new green grass. We welcome you into our circle. Aya.
Aya.
Okay. We now go to the north, which happens, it looks like kind of the letter B with a line under it. This is north. This is called Formen. So we'll draw the symbol in front of us. Put your hand in the Fear Not Mudra. We'll intone Formen. Formen. We now call on Ayule the smith, who dwells in the ground, the Vala of the mining and crafting of metals and gemstones. He who created the dwarves as a gift to Iluvatar. And our motherly Yavanna Kementari, the giver of fruits, the queenly Valier of Arda's maturing green vegetation of harvest and of life that nourishes all of us. We welcome you into our circle. Aya.
Aya.
Okay, we'll turn the page. We now go to the one that looks like an N, and it is the one that you draw on your heart chakra. So you can draw it right here. Okay. This means within, and it's intoned me, am I, but it's said like me and not my. So some people asked about that too. So we'll intone me and we can put our hand on our heart if you'd like, because this one is inside of us. Me. We now call upon the hunter Vala, Orome, Lord of the Forests, he who loves the elves and wanders all of Arda on horseback with his horn, and Vana, the ever young and vital, she who aligns with the flowers and the new plant growth. We welcome you into our circle, Aya.
Aya.
Okay. We now go to above, which looks like the letter U with a line above it. This is pronounced or, like or. Okay. So we can draw this, and if you want, you can draw it above you. Okay. And you can even put your hand upward, but if that hurts or anything, you can just keep it ahead of you and it's fine. We can intone or and call in the above part. Okay. Or we now call on Lorien, the Vala of the High Light Gardens, who nurtures our goals and visions and dreams, and Este the Gentle, the Valier of rest, sleep, and healing. We welcome you into our circle, Aya.
Aya.
Okay. We now go to below, which is turn the page. And it looks kind of like Roman, but with an extra little tail. And this glyph actually means Arda, because we couldn't find one that was like below, like it doesn't exist. So this is the closest that we could find. So, but we did find a word for below, and that would be undo. So you can hold you can draw the Tengwar like down below if you'd like. Okay. Just like how you would draw it, or you could draw it up here. Doesn't matter. Okay. Hold your hand, and if you want to hold it down to call below, we can do that now. Undo. We now call on those of the Valar who walk alone. Ulmo, the brother of Manwe, the powerful and protective Vala of all the musical waters of Arda, and Niena, the Valier of our transformation and rebirth, she who with her tears intensely cleanses and restores all forms of fear, pain, and hurt that have come before. We welcome you into our circle, Aya.
Aya.
And the last one of the directions, it looks like a letter M, but it's Numen. It's west. And the reason that we went from east to west in our directions is because that's what the elves did when they awoken from Cuivienen and they traveled westward toward Valinor. So that's why we have west as the last particular direction.
And it's the last place where the elves end up, the west.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly. That's why we do it that way. So we can draw the west, okay, face west, draw west, visualize west, put the Fear Not Mudra. We will intone Numen. Numen. We now call on Namo, the Vala of balance and fair judgment of our respective paths of death, and he resides in the halls of Mandos. And Vaire, the weaver of the ever-changing black and white threads of time, the past, present, and future. We welcome you into our circle, Aya.
Aya.
Okay, we have called our circle. We will do now the Iluve flame. So we can either draw a flame in front of us. You can like make a cross if you're a Christian, this is a good time to just whatever means everything to you. And we chose a flame because it resonates a lot with the flame imperishable. So I just usually just draw like a flame.
This represents a flame to me.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So whatever does that for you, you can do that. And then we'll intone iluve, which is the all and the everything and the everywhere. Okay. Source, basically. We can bring our hands. This is where the namaste happens. Okay. So we can do iluve. Okay. Iluve. We acknowledge that we are one with Iluvatar. And for those who are Christians, you are also connected with the spirit of Christ consciousness here. We feel the flame imperishable within us in our circle of celebration this day or evening. Laita, which means blessings.
Laita.
Okay. Let us now celebrate the Elven Middle Days, the Enderi, this day. Even though it's 3 days, but we're celebrating this day. Through the Legendarium, J.R.R. Tolkien tells us that these 3 days were the days of rest, recreational travel, and for being thankful for the abundance of the season. This middle time is also considered the second of the 3 fire festivals, the first being Tarnin Austa, which is the beginning of the year, and the summer and the winter solstices are the others. So that is a total of 4 fire festivals. These 3 days are dedicated to the Hunter Vala Orome, the traveler to Middle Earth in the early times of the Elves. Though the Elves were more hunters than farmers, it is also a time of year of being thankful for the vegetation, whether fruit, vegetable, or grain. At this turning of the Loa, which is the Elven calendar for the year, Yavier, the autumn harvest, is leaving, and Quele, the fading season, or Lasse Lanta, leaf fall, has arrived. This also foretells Prive, the winter to come. We, however, welcome the swift coming of the darkness, as we will be able to see more of the nighttime skies, including Isil, the moon, steered by the Maya Telion, and Varda's stars, while Anar, the sun, which is steered by the Maya Arian, is directed toward the shortening hours of Arda's presence for a time to later return. Let us now reflect on this meaning and the spiritual application it has on our lives and on this plane of earth existence. Let us also be restful and thankful for the seeds of our goals planted during Korire, the stirring season, and Tuile, the springtime, that have come forth in physical manifestation as we turn our attentions now toward our spiritual growth. Laita.
Laita.
Okay. Kimber-El, we're going to do a meditation video later, but the next part of the ritual that you would do is you would meditate. And in the case of meditation on Enderi, you would be connecting with Orome. So we have a meditation in the not free version of the book. The free one has all of the other structure of the rituals. So you can do any time of year. You can do your own ritual structure, and you can use the free or the paid for versions of the Enderi book. We're going to be coming out with our membership handbook and all of those things later, which I'm wondering, are we going to do a different video for the news, like for our 501c3 and some other things? Is that going to be a different video? Okay, so I'll share that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm hoping that we can do that before the new year, it comes.
That'd be amazing.
Celebration of the new year.
Yeah.
So
that'd be like, New Year, meaning the Elven New Year, meaning March 28th, or the Gregorian calendar New Year.
It could be well, both. We'll see how fast.
Okay, well, if it happens by my birthday, I'll be amazed. Okay.
So I will do the meditation. I'm actually going to be making a video that you can just listen to, because we thought that it would be probably more powerful and meaningful for you to just kind of listen on your own instead of just watching us do it.
Yes.
So I think
we agree.
More. Yeah. So I will do a second part to the video. Do we want to end with the closing, or
yes, we do. So if you are doing your video, if you are doing your ritual construction with this video, and then I'm going to hold up Elven, like the Enderi video, so you can know where to come back. Okay, we're going to go into the closing now. So the closing is thus. When the time is right, your meditation can come to a close. We thank the Valar, especially Orome, and your Maiar or Elven guides for their assistance, and we slowly come back to the physical world, remembering what's transpired for us. We bid Orome and any others farewell, and we turn our attention back. We slowly go to Koro Larire, which in the meditation is the hill where the two trees resided in Valinor. We draw in our branches and we unroot from the spirit of Arda. We have the connection at all times, but we're closing back to come back to the physical world. And we realize we have the connection at all times. We slow down the golden energy and the silver energy until it becomes small and portable. And we can keep a piece of these lights with us at all times, just like how their story of the Silmarils that are made with the light of the two trees. We can just keep them in our pocket. Okay, we can use it anytime we'd like. We take a deep breath, and if we still feel a little bit like out of our body or in some way in meditation, you can eat something and that'll bring you back to your body. If you have even a little bit of salt or something and just stick it on your tongue, brings you right back. Okay. You can do bread and drink and feel refreshed. We now go to the closing circle. Our work is done. We acknowledge the existence of Iluvatar, all that is, and the flame imperishable while we are in circle. And for our Christians that are following along, we thank the Christ Spirit for being with us in circle also. Okay, may we see all of their presence in everything outside of this circle. Laita.
Laita.
Thank you to all of the Valar, and in particular Orome, for being with us in circle and for carrying out in spirit our work done here this evening. We hereby open ourselves to you, even outside of this circle. Laita.
Laita.
We acknowledge and we are grateful for the elements and directions, and to the silver and golden light of the trees for creating our blessed space in which we may do our spiritual work this sacred night. Laita.
Laita.
Okay, so now we can visualize like kind of shrinking that circle that we made earlier, shrinking it down. Okay, and let's give the gift of this light and this energy that we've worked with tonight. Let's give it to Arda. So let's see it go into the ground and sink down and nourish Arda. Arda, here is a gift of our energy, of pure intent, of love, light, and healing that comes from the deepest places of our hearts. And may it heal you and all of your inhabitants and bring all things to natural balance. The circle is now open. Laita.
Laita.
Okay, and so we have little room here for if you want some food and drink, and if you're having a group ritual and you're wanting to just socialize and be in the energy. So that's what the end part is for.
That's wonderful, because that's probably what would happen. They break and then they would dance and feast and celebrate.
Yes.
So
that's exactly what it's for.
Yeah. Well, that was refreshing. I felt that. So I think that was wonderful. And I think what's so great about this is that it's open to all faiths. I mean, this is not something that will exclude anyone. I mean, really anybody can take part of it.
It doesn't. Well, I mean, providing that you're aligned in love,
yes,
any kind of love, this path is honestly, it's so inclusive that way. And we just love it.
And some people may see the Valar as gods or goddesses, but to the elves, they were more like archetypal kind of energies. And so to the men of Tolkien, they were seen as gods and goddesses. But the elves, because they were more confident in their powers as sovereign beings, they did not necessarily see them as gods and goddesses. So you do not have to take them on as gods and goddesses if that is something that you don't believe in.
It's actually preferred. In Tolkien's work, okay, through the eyes of a Iluvatar, the all that is, okay, the Valar, all the Maiar too, elves and men are all equal in the eyes of Iluvatar. So we ask that it's not a worship kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. It is actually, it's a connecting to your own source of sovereignty as a human this time, because we are obviously in human meat suits this time. Okay. And the Elven Path is actually the Elven way. It's not like, I mean, it has to do with resonating with Elven energy, certainly. Okay. Many of us resonate with Elven energy. We get it. Okay. That's why we named it the Elven Path. But it's not about so much being Elven as it is learning about like the Elven ways, so that we can have great foresight, so that we as humans can like adopt some of the Elven wisdom that we learn from the stories. Like, what would the elves do? I'm sure that Kimberell has done that video a few times.
Yes, I mean, that's what I've been trying to say on my channel. If you want to be an elf, think like an elf. Learn the ways of the elves. Because the Buddha taught that it is about mindfulness of connecting to the ways of the elves, the philosophies of, you have to, it's so funny because I did a Palladian video about this. You have to identify with an object in order to take it into yourself.
Yeah.
And that's so important. So if you want to be more elven-like, you want to express yourself more like an elf, then you need to identify with elves. And the way to identify with elves is to think like an elf.
Yeah.
To actually embody and embrace the way of the elves. So I'm so happy that this path is open to everyone. We're going to open up with a general website where you can go on and you can actually join full membership, and then it will put you into a secret Facebook group that right now we are inviting people in as we see that they really want to walk this spiritual path, because this is a little bit deeper than sharing, Elven inspiration. It's a little bit deeper. It's about walking the ways of the elves. So we're
and we're really trying to stay Tolkien, Legendarium, Elven, that, because that's the basic part of our path. Now, of course, it has comparative, translating happening to other. I came from a completely different background than just Tolkien that I drew a lot of inspiration from. But what I've tried to do is link it to the Legendarium as very much possible, so that it becomes like more, the more that you link, like for instance, I saw some posts recently about, like the goddess and everything and and I totally get it. But what I do is I draw a Legendarium relevance to that particular viewpoint about the everything, and bring it into context, in other words.
And I think that when we start to do that, we are going to see the boundaries are going to be opened, where it's not going to be so much as like deities in charge of humans. It's more about aligning to the energies of these ancient universal archetypes. And I think that that is really what the Elven spiritual path is really about. It's a little bit different. I think it's more like quantum physics. It's like a modern type version of a spiritual path. So I'm excited.
I am too. I mean, something like this has never really been done before. And
can you explain? I'm sorry. Can you explain the actual term? It's pantheism.
Oh, yes, I can. Oh, that's what we were going to talk about. Okay. This path. Okay, so there are paths that are considered monotheism, like Christianity. All of the Abrahamic religions are considered monotheistic. There's even like in Egypt, monotheism was practiced when Ra was like the main of the pantheon, and everybody had to go to him. So that was a monotheism also. There's duotheism, like God, goddess. Okay, there is polytheism, which is more like a viewpoint of like some reconstructionist, like heathen paths, wherein that they literally view their pantheon as like individual, like they're all individuals, okay, separate from each other. Pantheism like says that all of the gods and goddesses are one, okay, and then one is all. So it's all one and one is all. So that's pantheism.
It's the one but the many.
The Elven Path is panentheism, which is the all is one and one is all, but there's still a mystery beyond that we don't quite know everything about. And that is certainly portrayed when we tune into the Legendarium's presentation of Iluvatar, the all that is. We do a lot of like connection with the Valar, who were the Ainur who helped sing the world in existence, and then said, okay, we're going to hang out with this creation, okay? And then Iluvatar makes the elves and men, right? And then we live it out, and we're committed to this until the third song is sung. Okay, so we are still in like Legendarium aspect, still living out the song. Okay, we're probably in the third song, I would say. Okay, and it doesn't mean that everything ends. It doesn't mean that we'll all disappear. It means that it'll probably start all over again. I mean, everything goes in cycles. And so like there's some people that think, oh, it'll be the end of everything, you know, Daggereth. And I mean, yes, okay, so a lot of things come to an end, but it just means that it's going to all begin again too. We could have a new song, and I guess that there's some parts of the song that we'd like to change, right?
So I hope everybody feels relaxed. Boy, I feel relaxed. I feel so this is wonderful. And the next video that I do, I'm going to do the meditation so that people can just carry on right through it. And although it won't be probably done tomorrow, it'll be done probably sometime soon. So I'm excited. It seems like everybody really enjoyed it. I have
awesome.
Yeah, Peachy how beautiful. I felt this from the bottom of my heart. Silent Void, I felt some of it. Faith is like, I want to learn. Oh, you will.
You will.
Chris Aerosmith.
Sign up for our free email list, at least to download some stuff, including some really important goodies. And if you can't get in, just message us on Facebook or send us a contact.
Mary says, this is awesome.
Yay, Mary.
Wonderful. Well, good. I'm so glad. I hope you feel really empowered. This is not to put you in a state of submission to the Valar, but to and to embrace your own power.
According to Tolkien, we are all equal. We are literally, but we all have a different role to play. So I guess that like it's probably hard for people to see equal. I'm trapped in this meat suit. Let me tell you, there is a lot of power in our meat suits. We just haven't figured out how to figure it out.
Yeah.
you know, and the elves had a lot closer, I think, of like how that spiritual comes physical, that they like were able to marry, like, if you will, like talking in terms of like, you know, I guess esoteric, you know, stuff, like the 3D to the 5D, like they blended that really well, where humans ended up kind of really doing 3D and kind of blocking.
They were unconscious. Yeah.
Yes.
Humans are unconscious a lot of times, and the elves represent consciousness. And that's really what Tolkien was getting at. So when a human embraces the elven spirit and the elven path within themselves, it means they are becoming conscious beings.
Yeah. And by the way, there's gifts in humanity. This is also, you know, taught with the Elven Path, and also Tolkien talks about that humans have a special way when, and first off, we're mortal and we don't have thousands and thousands of years of like heavy energy that the poor elves have. Okay. Like that's, you know, we only get so much and then we're out of here. So there's a gift in that, and that we go right to Iluvatar. However, I do wonder, because I do know about like the half elven energies, like that there's, you know, I do believe that humans, it's possible for us to have elven DNA and for us to choose like what level of like elvenness that we access, and that it is possible that Iluvatar, when we see Iluvatar, may say, okay, you guys can go with the rest of the elves. I mean, you know, it's a decision that, you know, he could easily make, and then say, okay, you guys can go to Valinor. And then we end up meeting, you know, Namo of the Halls of Mondos. We end up meeting Manwë and all of the Valar. So it's totally possible.
Well, consciously, consciously, if you feel more like an elf than a human at times, you are tapping into that resonance of being at a place where you're more aware and conscious of the 3D world, and you know what's kind of going on because you have been through it before. You represent a hybrid soul. So a lot of times I talk about how I don't feel quite human because I'm a hybrid. I have this elven soul and I have a human body. And I come into the world with that for a particular reason. Many people are in this world with elven souls because this is a time in which we are needed. And I have how many videos that talk about this, but I'm hoping that we can awaken more elves. So this is exciting.
I would like that also. And I'm talking about the place deep in your heart. Okay, that's where I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like, I want to be like, you know, from a sense of like separation from humanity or ego or like division or none of that. Okay, this is about something that is a pure piece of love that like just hits you that certain way and says yes. Okay. And actually, we also have a lot of people involved in the Elven Path that really love this path, even if they are not like resonating with the elves, but they like really get into Tolkien's stories because they really resonate with that world. And that is totally okay too. We have a lot of people that like resonate with fairy energy or, you know, other kinds of, you know, connections, I guess, to the stories. And
we have a lot of hobbits. Yeah, we have a lot of hobbits that follow this.
We have a lot of hobbits. Yeah,
I love the hobbits. I mean, they're great.
Hey, they took the ring to Mount Doom without, you know, damage, and nothing. It's something that even Gandalf and Galadriel couldn't do. Something that the Eagles couldn't do. And it's interesting. We had this conversation on the OneRing.net has a group, like a Facebook group where they discuss some things. And one of the members had posted something about like, why didn't the Eagles just take the ring, you know, like, and just get it done with? And it's like,
I'll get into that in another video.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, it was like obvious. It's like Sauron would have caught the Eagles in a minute, right? He was totally looking for that.
Quote that
he was not looking for a hobbit to go and destroy it. He was not looking for that. Yeah. He thought that that was too insignificant for him.
There's a quote that Elrond says that's perfect for that. That Small hands must do the deeds, while the eyes of the great are elsewhere.
Yes.
And it's so important that we all do our parts, because it equals to the same vision of, Eru Luvatar, or the all that is. Each of us are here to find our own unique parts and abilities and skills, and together we make that picture. We make that together. And I just think that this is so wonderful, because we can bring a lot of souls together this way.
Exactly. Please, all of you, own, whether you're otherkin, whether you're like any of these things, please, 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 please own your humanness. You came in for a reason. Okay. We want you to be sovereign, grounded to Arda beings, so that you can actually help move the energy into human consciousness and awakening to like the next level, where elves are actually have already mastered this area. And it's always about uplifting our spiritual path. So
well, even the aliens that communicate with us and things, I mean, they are part of the human collective for a reason, and we are all here on Earth, part of this collective for a reason. And you're absolutely right. If we don't identify with at least half of our our humanity, then we can forget about ourselves, and we can leave humanity in the dust, and we're not really helping the collective at all. One of the things that
when we leave behind and give away our power, we are actually helping the dark side.
Exactly.
We are helping the dark side when we don't own all of us. And by the way, when I say own all of us, I mean all of us, not just the beautiful, light, fluffy bunny side, that we own our shadow also. Absolutely. The shadow is the most frightening thing that you'll ever face. And if you can face that, you'll face anything.
And the more you look at your shadow, the less it is there.
That's true. Yeah, because you're shining light. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have those dark desires after you become conscious and aware of them.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I had these ideas in my mind about doing things that weren't so great, and they weren't wonderful. But as soon as I owned up to it and became aware, and I stepped into kind of my elvenness, and kind of became like just really sure of my role on Earth, that dark side started to dissipate. They didn't hold sway over me. The dark desires, they don't tempt me. They don't hold
once you once it happens, it just becomes
exactly. You see what it's
transmute yourself when you do that. Yeah very, very interesting. For people that are afraid to face their dark side because it's like, ew, that's messy, hey, we get it. Okay, we've faced our messy stuff. We have done that.
I have a video called Going Through the Darkness. You are all welcome to watch it, and I will tell you some of my sins that I have taken part in and cleanse myself of, because I no longer do those things, And that's what really, I think, stepping into your elven nature becomes. Why are they the wisest beings on Arda? Because they learned well the mistakes of the past. And they want to pass it down to humanity in some way and in some form to help them and assist them when they need. But that is what wisdom is. It's experience. It's not knowledge. It's not intellect. It's experience.
Yeah. Wisdom from that experience is what, that you derive kind of the right thing from the experience. Because sometimes the experience ends up being trauma that ends up locked too. So we want to make sure that we help those areas. Now, this is not to address anything on the personality level. That is for psychologists and therapists that are trained. But we here at the Elven Path want to address the spiritual sides of those things. And so we want to be available to all of you who, and by the way, some of you who've joined the path recently, you noticed that you went into a healing crisis. You're letting go of a lot of traumas and all of these energetic imprints that are no longer a part of your Elven path, your own Elven path. That's why we call it the Elven Path. when you like start walking that, it's like, oh, well, you won't need these anymore. And it can be some pretty, up and down experiences, letting go of some of those things. And we want to tell you, we understand. We've been through them too.
Mm-hmm. Just flow with it and just know on the inside.
Drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm excited. We'll have the meditation video coming up soon. Coming up next. Thank you for everyone joining in tonight on our lovely Friday here. I hope you all just take this new energy within yourself and you just have a magical weekend, everyone. So namarie.
Namarie. Thank you.
Laita.
Laita.